Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. It is Tuesday, April 30th. I am Nick Eatman here, and it is time to talk post-draft. The draft is come and gone. Now it's time to evaluate it, even though I was just joking with Chris just now. It's probably a good time to evaluate the 2021 draft or maybe 2022. I mean, it's really hard to evaluate a draft. They haven't done anything, but everyone loves to do it. They love to put their grades on it, put their stamp on it, and that's what we'll do. Cowboys ended up with 8 picks. We figured they would get a little bit more. They did, and I think the trade was very significant, moving back from the first round, picking up a tackle, and then using that pick in the third round to get a guard center. And so, as Jerry had said a couple of times, 2 players is better than 1. That's exactly what happened, especially with those 2 need picks on the offensive line. So I got to give them credit for that. Of course, we'll see how they play. We'll see how these careers pan out. But I think from that move alone, that was probably the best part of the draft for me. But we'll talk more about it. 888-855-2297. Give you guys a chance to sound off. And let's start off now with Michael. He's in Colton, California. Michael, what's up?
Shout out to the whole Cowboys Nation. What's going on, Nick? I know
Good.
you're good. I know everybody's great. Hey, I just want to say Cooper Beebe, man, he was my favorite pick of the draft. I was just talking about that with Mr. Bean back there. And shout out to him. He does a great job. But I think Cooper Beebe is going to be really special. I can't wait to see him. He's going to make that transition to center. But another thing, Nick, I would like to say is, I'm like I've told you before, the Cowboys, they got the skins on the wall to prove that they know how to draft. That they do very well drafting. But I just hope that by us not getting the running back, that it doesn't come back to bite us at the end of the year, because I don't want that run game to be an Achilles heel to us. You know what I mean? And so that's my only concern. But I just want to ask you, who was your favorite pick?
Yeah, I would say Cooper Beebe for sure. I mean, just the highlights alone. I mean, I don't know what his bad tape looks like, but his good tape is amazing. I mean, he's just putting people on his ass. I mean, on their ass. I mean, the whole time. I mean, it's really, really impressive. It makes me wonder why he kind of fell to the third round. He might have some issues with some speed guys a little bit, or some quickness, but I mean, I saw him in space. I saw him against really good players. We saw him against competition of Texas guys, Devontae Sweat, who's was a second round pick. So I think he's got everything that you want, and the versatility just allows you to do more things on the line. So I like it. I like that pick a lot. That was probably my favorite pick for sure. His tape stood out the most, of anyone else, and just some other guys are intriguing to me as well. But like you said, the running back, I thought they might go there, but more than anything, shore up what you have right now on the offensive line. And I think that was kind of the key. I guess, we should point out here, as it's 1:06 on a Tuesday, that, Ezekiel Elliott officially has signed. That was expected over the weekend, and it happened. Officially signed on today, on Tuesday. Already doing some workout with the players. I think it's still a little unsettled what number he's going to wear. It might be 21 like it was, because that is open. He might move to something else. We've got to see how it all shakes out. But I think for now it's 21, and I think that's probably where it should be. That's what he is. There's still going to be a lot of jerseys in that stadium if that's the case. And that's the running back for now. He's the leader in the clubhouse, but there's some other options there as well. All right, Anthony in Miami is next.
Nick the Quick, what's going on, my guy?
How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good, Nick. I'm riding around these streets, man. Hey, you know how I'm feeling, though? I'm feeling super califragilisticexpialidocious. I'm feeling that way because I predicted this, the trade back made me very happy. remember about a month ago I started talking about this in my do's and don'ts. So that made me happy. Not only you surpassed the fourth round missing pick. You got a third. You know what I'm saying? And you got good players. You got a weakness was the offensive line. We know we couldn't run the ball. We couldn't stop the run. So fix something. You kind of fixed that. Yet to be seen. But you basically have, I think, one free agent player signed on the O-line. So you got drafted 3. You had 3 starters. You had 5 guys in the mix, Bass and all those guys. You got 11 offensive linemen with a first-round draft pick. Left tackle, who plays left tackle, was pretty good. You didn't get the running back, so I give him an A-. But you got Zeke, you got Royce Freeman, and all those guys. So I'm very happy that every pick, it was something we needed, especially the top 5.
Yep.
Tackle, center, BB. I love BB. When Brian and them and all of them, Nick them, and Aisha and them talked about him, I love that guy.
Yeah.
So, good. Let me 2 shout-outs, Nick. 2 shout-outs. Shout-out to the big guy, the 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowler, Big Nate, hanging with the Cowboys and Sagittarius brethren. I was listening to a court hanging, and I heard that he had a procedure or something. So, Nate, it's your boy Anthony. You know how we do it, baby, hanging and banging for 6 years. Get well. Love to catch up with y'all as I talk to the storyline. One more shout-out. Dylan. I was riding. My girl is from Tampa. Dylan is not too far from there because he said where he stays, no port. I was on 75, so I rolled my window down. It's a road that goes right by there, and I just yelled out, "What's up, Dylan?" So shout out to you, Dylan. I like what you got to talk about on the show and everything like that. So that's basically all it is, Nick.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? We'll do this thing next week, man. I'm happy.
All right.
Excited, bro.
Appreciate it. I love that. Just drive down the road there in the small town of Tampa or wherever that is and yell out Dylan. He probably heard it. Good stuff, Anthony. Yeah, I like the addressing the needs. Looks like you got a guy that's going to start at left tackle. You got a defensive end in Marshawn Nealon that it looks like is a little bit more of a run stopper. And not everyone loved that pick, but some did. And so I and then BB, and then you got Maris Leafau, so from Notre Dame. So you got some guys that can help stop the run and also help run the ball. Those are the 2 things that you really needed. All right, let's go to Will in Pennsylvania. Will.
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
I'm good, man.
First-time caller.
Right.
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go. Beam's on the phone. All right, what's up? What do you got? We'll get you. Here we go. What do you got?
Okay, no worries. There we go. Just wanted to say great draft, and I don't care what Bucky Brooks has to say. He wants to give us a C out there, but we'll see, right? We'll show him. I like that they didn't go after a running back. Like they said, we got a bunch of opportunities here to pick one up, a trade. I don't know if I can name names out there, so I won't go and name names.
Right.
But I just like the flexibility they now have with the line. We are talking about left tackle an awful lot, but what about right tackle? What if Steele doesn't come around? He was a little shaky there. You could always throw Guyton over there to right tackle, move Tyler Smith to left tackle and throw BB into guard. I mean, it's just a lot of flexibility there.
Right.
I'm really liking that. Another thing I want to talk about is people are always talking about why didn't Jerry Jones sign this person? Why didn't Jerry Jones sign that person? And I don't know. I believe Jerry Jones would buy the thing if he could. I believe he would go out and pay everybody.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, back in the 90s, all this free agency, I call it the Cowboy rule because Cowboys would have went on and probably won about 4 more Super Bowls in the 90s if they could have kept all their players. So they threw these free agency rules in there to, break everything up, make everything a little bit more competitive and things of that nature. And, I actually like it as a football fan. Yes, I've been a Cowboy fan since the 70s, but I actually like the competitiveness. Are you going to get up there sometimes and not win it? Yeah, of course. Things we always talk about all the time, that things have to come into play, work out so well and perfectly for you to win the Super Bowl. And I just believe that. So I don't hate on my Cowboys at all.
Okay.
Were you going to say something?
No, are you? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I'll leave that for right now.
Okay. Well, all right. Thanks, Will, for the call. Appreciate that. Good stuff. Draft grades. He talked about draft grades. I mean, I think I'll be honest, I think that's a stupid procedure, honestly, and to grade drafts afterwards. So you said I didn't see Bucky Brooks doing that. Bucky's been part of our, family, here and doing some stuff. He hasn't done some stuff in a while, but, I respect him and he does a good job. But I'm just saying, grading the draft is really like grading. It's just basically you're grading yourself, because these guys put out a mock draft. They put out their top 100, their best available player. Think about if you're Daniel Jeremiah and you're sitting there on the draft, and all of a sudden, here's my board. Here's my 31st best player, and you're sitting in the third round at pick 80, and your 31st best player is there. That doesn't look good. So then when the guy gets picked, what does he say? Good pick. Good pick. Good job, Titans. Good job. That's good value. Of course it is. Of course you think it is, because that's how you evaluated them, which is fine. And so that's what happens. These draft grades, the teams that pick the players that fell, or the players you've heard of that were really good college players, you think, oh, they're getting great value there. I mean, yeah, you think so. Nothing's happened. Nothing's happened since Friday or Thursday or whatever, except for them getting picked, but they didn't become better or worse players. So I always think it's silly to grade the draft, because you're basically just going off of what you just did, and nothing's really changed. But it's fun to do, and yeah, I mean, I've seen the Cowboys with an A-. I've seen them B, C. Who cares? I mean, doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, grade the 2021 draft. They've been in the league 3 years. Was that a good draft? I mean, that's really what matters. It looks good. It's all potential. I mean, how these guys potentially might fit, but they've got to come over, come here and do the job. And so that's why it's just always early to do that. And I don't, so, I mean, in some of these guys, that's what they're asked to do media wise. Hey, let's do a draft grade. Cool. They don't know, and it's just it's I guess it's fun to do and it's fun to watch. But if they're all over the map, then that just tells you that nothing's like concrete when it comes to that. All right, and you talked about Steele. I think he's going to be fine at right tackle. I really do. I think he was having a good season before he got hurt in 2022. Took a little bit in 23 to kind of get back, going again. And then when he did, I thought he played a lot better. So I think he's going to be fine. But you have options. That's what's good about these versatile linemen that have played tackle. They played guard. Some guards have played center. So you're going to have a lot of options there, and you should have some pretty good competition. All right, Sebastian in Savannah, Georgia. Sebastian.
Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
I'm great. What's up?
That's good. Nothing much. Just finished my day trading. I day trade, so 2 o'clock is usually a big time for me, and I'm Eastern Standard, so usually that's when the show's on, and I try to call the second half of the show, can't get through. I was blowing up Friday. I was getting through. I think your show ended at noon Eastern Standard Time. I think I caught at the end of the show. But here we are now. So I just wanted to call you because I know you have the ability to do something that, it's hard to do because you can't call the draft show. I want you to go, and if you can, when you see Brian, just tell him that Ed Cahill would be so proud, man. The faces change, but the quality of the draft show always stays the same. Wall-to-wall coverage, your guy Nick Harris did a fantastic job. Aisha, everybody in that room, from start to finish of that draft, were absolutely the best people that I listened to.
Yeah.
I watched some of it because my hometown's Detroit, so I watched some of the Detroit stuff, and I watched Mel Kiper and everybody talking about the draft picks. No one's touching the Cowboys draft show. So if you can just pass that mention along, I appreciate you so much. Just been listening. You got a lot.
It is the best. It is the best.
It is. No, that's not blowing smoke at all. It's the best.
Well, I mean, it's a Cowboys-centric show that they're going to talk about the Cowboys, but then they don't ignore, the Seattle's pick at number 16. I mean, they talk about him.
Right.
They talk about the player. And then, but how it kind of pertains to the Cowboys, it's always, and I think that's really good if you're a Cowboy fan. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely the best show for any Cowboy fan that also loves the draft.
Oh yeah. I love the draft too. I think we did a good job. I was surprised that we didn't take a running back. And if going forward, if I was a running back in college, if I'm not Ernie Sims or Ezekiel Elliott coming out, I'm looking at position flex. I'm looking at, doubling as a wide receiver because they're not taking running backs high anymore. You can see that they've devalued that position quite a bit. And I was surprised that we didn't take one at all. But obviously we had a plan. So, I was cool with that as well. But, just appreciate the show. I've been checking it out. You got a lot of new callers. You got a lot of people that call all the time. Yeah. It's been a really good listen. Well, Mr. Eatman, you have a great day. I'm having a real good day myself. All right. And Chris Beam, Jazz, everybody in the back, you guys have a great day. I'll call every chance I get.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Great call, Sebastian. I don't know for sure if you can just say the running back position isn't valued high just because of this year. I think it just kind of comes and goes. I think if there's a special running back, I think he'll get taken. I mean, last year there was 2 running backs in your top 12, Bijan Robinson and then Jahmyr Gibbs. They both went pretty high. Gibbs was a surprise, but I mean, and he had a good year. I think this year's class, they just didn't have that type of guy. The one thing about a running back is you got to be able to do a lot of things really well to be taken high, or you've got 1 or 2 traits that are just off the charts. And I think Bijan Robinson was very complete, did a lot of things well, and I think Jahmyr Gibbs was close to that, but he has just dynamic speed, and that was fun to watch, unless you're a defender trying to tackle him. But I think I don't think we're done seeing running backs drafted in the first round. But they're going to have to be elite. They're going to have to be the type of player that's going to come right in and contribute and help your team, because the clock is ticking on these running backs. When they come in, they're going to get about 5 years for a first round pick, or a 4 if you're after that. So you better come in and be able to compete right away. And I don't think we're done seeing that, but they've got to be very special, and that really hasn't changed over the last few years. I mean, that's the way it was with Zeke. I mean, I remember Stephen Jones saying 4 days before that draft that running back's just not valued the same anymore unless you get someone special. And then 4 days later, they drafted Zeke, number 4. He was special. So, and now he's back. All right, Michael in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah, I just heard a little bit of the last call. And I think if you're in Cowboys complex, you throw a rock, you got a good chance of hitting a running back. So, I mean, we got a lot. There's what? We got 7, counting practice squad.
Okay. Yep.
If even with all that, if somebody let a big one go, or you got Cook still out there and stuff, which I'm not sure about him anyway. Do you think Dallas would pull the trigger and pick one up and drop one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're 100% committed to these backs that they have. I mean, they're always going to be looking. They're looking to see if there's another option, if there's a trade on the table, and I think that they're going to explore their options there. But I'm sure as it is right now, they like what they've got. There's probably a little bit more love for Rico Dowdle than there is, than the rest of the league had for him. They did bring him back on a 1-year deal, but I think that you're always going to be looking, and they'll probably have their eyes open for some things.
And then everybody's talking about the draft, and I don't think you can really grade it for a few years. I mean, you're going to have to, I guess, look and see how Guyton does compared to the center we were trying to get, but to see how the draft went. Isn't that? I mean, really, isn't that?
Always. Okay. I mean, you're right. I just said that you were probably before you called. I mean, it's not the time to evaluate this draft class. I mean, it's fun to do, but it's just I mean, what if you just didn't like this cornerback from Fresno State? You know, who is this guy? Deron Bland. He didn't even play a lot at Florida State.
Yeah.
I mean, Fresno State. Sorry. I mean, you just wouldn't like him, and it's like, I don't think he's going to be that good. And okay, you know, or Damone Clark. I mean, he's got a neck injury. He may never play. Well, you know, by the end of that year, Damone Clark is playing, and Deron Bland leads the team in picks. That was the 2022 draft. So I'm just saying it's tough to evaluate. You know, there's people that thought that Kelvin Joseph was going to be really good. You know, I'll be honest, I didn't like the pick at the time, and I don't like it now. But I mean, but I'm just saying it's early. It's early to tell. But I mean, Beebe looks like a fun pick, a fun player to watch. Hopefully, he will be.
Well, I think we're still going to win. I think our wins are still going to be in the neighborhood of what we've had. So
yeah. Well. They got to get a little better because I think the schedule is going to be better. You know, when you're playing first place schedule, I mean, the 49ers are still there, and Detroit looks like they're going to be good. Houston looks like they're going to be good. So those are your three teams that you picked up this year, on top of playing the AFC North, which is always tough. Those teams are tough. So the schedule does look tougher, and. You know, but you got to be a little bit better. Maybe they will be. Maybe Zimmer's defense will be better than what it was. Maybe.
Well, I'd have took Zeke in that Green Bay game.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just about running the ball and being tough. It's having the attitude, having hey, give me the damn ball and let me go make a play. And he's not what he used to be. He's lost a few steps, but he's still. I mean, even his last year here. When it was 3rd and 1, he got it. I mean, he got the yard. I mean, not always with some change. It was just a yard or yard and a half, but he did what he's supposed to do. Now that kills your average, so now it looks like you're not playing. You know, you're not as good anymore because your average goes down. But if you're a short yardage back and it's 3rd and 1, you need to get one. He got 10 touchdowns, so I mean, he got to the goal line too. So, anyways, I mean, I still think he can kind of provide what you want. Maybe he needs somebody else though to help him.
Yep. Hey, I appreciate it.
All right, Michael. Always appreciate it. Good call. Let me say one thing real quick before we go back to the phone line, which we do have a line open, 888-855-2297. You know, you have to remember this when you're looking at the way players are evaluated. You know, like you've got your draft analysts and experts out there, and they're studying players for, you know, all the teams. You know, this linebacker for this team or this defensive end I like because he can do this, and this. And for the most part, it would fit everybody. But let me go back to a story from 10 years ago in 2014. The Cowboys had they drafted a linebacker in the 4th round named Anthony Hitchens. And Hitchens was a player that your Todd McShays or Mel Kiper had in the 6th round, 7th round, and not on a lot of people's board because he didn't run very fast at the in his 40 or his combine or pro day, whatever. But Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator, loved him. He thought he would be a perfect fit for what he wants to do on defense. And he brings him in as a rookie, 100 tackles as a rookie, made the all rookie team that season and had a really good year and on a good football team. And he was a really good player for that team. So my point is sometimes you see these grades that are just graded for all teams, just kind of a generic grade on what the player can do. But Mike Zimmer's looking at a Marshawn Nealon and going, I can use him like this, or I can use this player, or I like Maris Leofau. I'm gonna probably position him like this. So their grades are higher than others because of when the defensive coaches come in and really have a vision for the player. Donovan Wilson wasn't a guy that was really high on just anywhere. He wasn't playing that well. And then all of a sudden, Dan Quinn comes over and takes the defensive coordinator job and says, I'm going to use this guy in a lot of different ways. And he ends up having really good season and gets a new contract out of it. So the coach's vision on a player can change a little bit. So you can't always go off what you see the grade because you're like, Zimmer had a complete different vision for some of these guys, and that's why they're here, and that's why they picked them where they did. All right, let's go to Dylan, Northport, Florida.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, man. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I got to keep my ears open, I guess, for Anthony driving down the highway.
Yeah, I mean, if he's yelling at you, you got to yell back. Yeah.
I live like 5 minutes off the highway, so I'm close. If he yells loud enough, maybe I'll hear you, Anthony.
You might have. You might have heard that. I didn't think Florida was so small. Thought it was kind of big, but I guess not. I'm kidding.
It's long.
What's
Big
up?
state. What's up, dude? So, yeah, man, I think they did pretty good. The trade back ended up being great. I never thought of BB as a center, but I'll take him and Guyton over Graham Barton. I think that one trade allowed you to fix really your whole line.
Yep.
So I'll take that. A lot of people see Nealand as like the boring pick of the draft, but they had a plan with him because D-Law probably won't be here next year. He's in a contract year, and everything I hear about him, he's like a copy and paste. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he can slide in and just do what D-Law does now. That'd be great.
Yep.
The corner they took, third-round grade, a lot of people had on him, so that's exciting. And I think all in all, it looks to be a good draft. We'll know in a couple of years, like everybody's saying. But they drafted a bunch of guys with, like, the same attitude as Jake Ferguson, and that's what I really wanted. I call it the FU attitude, like nobody's going to F with me. And that's what they did. All these guys, especially BB, man, I'm excited to see him plow over some dudes. So, I think they did a good job.
Yeah. I call it kind of the dirty work draft. These guys that are tough, and there are a lot of them in the trenches. They can stop the run. They can help block. I mean, they kind of do the dirty work things. You don't see a lot of flashy players in this draft.
Yeah, no doubt. And I did have a question for you. Something I was wondering about if we put on our 2020 vision spectacles here and go back in time. Knowing what we know now, we didn't get a running back. There was a run on them in the fourth, and now obviously they brought in Zeke. So I want to get your thoughts on Zeke. But also, would you still want to have had them trade for Trey Lance last year and sacrifice that pick, or would you rather have had that pick to pick up one of these running backs? Because we got a bunch of guys in there right now, man, traits. They all got traits, but nobody's really complete.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been better to maybe have gotten a guy that was a little bit more complete. But obviously, I was okay with the trade at the time, so I'm not going to go back on that and really criticize them for that.
I would probably not have made the trade, if you're going back now. I mean, and think about it. If this is coming off the season where Dak was injured and led the league in picks. So you're like, we got to see where we are here. If you were to say, hey, hold up, before you make this pick, I just want to tell you in my crystal ball that Dak is going to lead the NFL in completions and in touchdown passes, and he's going to have the best year, and he's probably going to finish in the top 2 or 3 in the MVP voting. You'd be like, okay, all right, I like that. I like where we're going here, and you may not have made that trade. So, and then, of course, everyone loves to have their pick. But they did it, and I don't really fault them for it. But hindsight is 2020 always, and I think that if you look back, you probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and if he had another year or two on his contract, Trey, that is, right, I think I would have felt much better about it. But that's why they got him for a fourth rounder too. If he had more years, maybe they would have got him. It would have cost more. I don't know. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. I would have rather have had the running back, I think.
Yeah. Well, they didn't get a quarterback in free agency. Thanks for the call, Dylan.
Yeah.
They did not get a quarterback in a rookie free agency, and they probably won't. This is going to be some highly anticipated preseason games coming up, just because, number one, there's a quarterback that you want to see, and he's going to get a lot of playing time in Trey Lance. I mean, he might even start and finish an entire game. I think you're going to want to see what the kickoff rules are going to do, even though it may be rather vanilla in how they do it, but I still think you'll see some of that. So I think it'll be. Who knows if this is the last year of 3? Probably not. But it does sound like there's going to be 18-game schedule at some point in the near future. I wouldn't think they'd turn it around this quickly. But that always made sense to me, because you don't see that many. You don't see anybody that has an odd number of games on their schedule. It's always even. Just having the home in a way that's uneven, it doesn't make sense. So it was always looking like 18-2. As far as preseason and then the regular season games. All right, Rob in Vegas, what's up?
Hey, Nick.
How you doing?
I'm good. Piggybacking off of what Dylan was talking, that Trey Lance trade was dumb. You're trading for a guy that you hope never sees the field. I mean, let's be honest. You never want to see the backup quarterback. He was never going to be your future guy when you still had a guy under contract at $40 million plus. And now you have no contract past this year. And let's face it, you don't want to see him this year play. So what are you going to do? You're going to throw him in preseason. He'll probably look good. And then what are you going to do? Throw $25 million at him? I mean, so that was just a dumb trade. I thought the draft.
Let's wait and see on that. Let's just wait and see on that. Maybe he has a really good preseason.
Yeah, but even if he does, what are you going to do?
Well,
what are you going to offer him to stay?
Let me finish. I mean, it may not be that way. It may be a situation where another team, a Minnesota type situation from last year, where they're going and they're trading for Dobbs in the middle of the season. You might get a little bit more value there than you would at any other time. So
I don't see anybody ever giving up more than a fourth round pick for him, or especially knowing he's a free agent. So I don't think so. I just think I don't know what that trade was just mystifying. Just like bringing in Zeke doesn't really make any sense. I mean, you got 6 other guys that are all the same. I like Zeke, but I liked Zeke 6 years ago.
Yeah. Well,
but I thought the draft was predictable.
Hold on. Is who's the best running back on the team right now?
Rico Dowdle.
Okay. Disagree, but that's fine. I mean, but that's the point.
So who do you think is the best?
Zeke. I mean, I think he's better than Rico Dowdle.
No, the only reason why I say Dowdle could at least run 40 yards, 50 yards, and get there.
Does he have the ball, or is he just gonna run? Do you need to get that?
No, I got it. No, Rico Dowdle, I just think at least has some speed.
Yeah,
he could break runs. I don't think Zeke's had a run. I think they said he's had like 6 runs or 7 runs past 10 yards.
Here's the thing.
He's ranked like 45th.
Here's the thing. This is not kicker, punter, or quarterback. They both can play. They both can play, and they both can help you. So that's fine. I mean, that's a good argument.
To me, it's like as long as you don't try to make him the main guy, and think he's going to turn back the clock.
Yeah.
He could block, maybe do better at short yardage. Hunter Lipke may be in trouble because then really what do you need him for if you're going to use Zeke in short yardage? I mean, I thought the draft was predictable. I totally agree with the grades. These guys are like weathermen. They're 50% right 3 days later.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I think the draft was good. They did what they had to do. They I like the Guyton kid. He's massive.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to bring up, the Eagles just signed A.J. Brown, I believe, $32 million a year. So now, I don't know what Jerry's waiting for, but CD now going to cost you, what, $33, $34 million a year? I don't see Jerry Jones paying both CD Lamb and Micah Parsons. I just don't see it. I don't see him writing a check for each player in the $32 to $34 million a year range.
Yeah.
And that's why I think neither one is signed. I don't know if he's deciding which one he's going to pay, but I don't see him paying both. The number is going up astronomical. And then you throw in, obviously, Dak. That's going to be in the 58 to 60, I'm thinking. Or,
Yeah.
So I just don't see them signing these guys. The Cowboys do this all the time. They hold on. Like they're waiting for the player to say, you know what, I'll give you a little discount. The discount never comes, and then he ends up writing a bigger check. And you saw with Micah Parsons now, that's over 30, and now CeeDee Lamb, it's over 32.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I don't know what they're waiting for with these 2 star players.
Well, they was definitely waiting for that. Jerry made it clear. He was waiting for these other receivers to sign. I don't think he wanted to set the market there. He wanted Jefferson to sign. He wanted A.J. Brown. He wanted those guys.
But I don't understand that. Do you understand it? What do you mean set the market? The market is set.
Well,
now the market is set. Now the number starts at 32. What's the difference? If you would have did it, let's say, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe you get him at 30.
Right.
So I don't understand when Jerry says, I don't want to set the market. What are you talking about?
Okay,
the market is the market,
and it may not be Jerry. It may be the other side as well. I mean, you know how these contracts work. This isn't an exclusive rights deal. I mean, like they have to agree. So and they made that clear in the press conference when they were asked about it. That it takes 2 sides. That it doesn't seem like neither agent is trying to move quickly on getting these deals done. And CD's
No,
never.
You see why? Because if you want to be the last guy, not the first guy.
Well,
because
you also got it. They also have to think that they're better than that player. I mean, is CD a better player than AJ Brown? Should he get more money?
Yes.
That's the debate. That's the debate.
And he's got the numbers. I mean, it's CD. He's got the numbers. He's got the. I mean, he's gotten better every year. He's a better player. So, like I said, his agent walks in and says this starts at 33, 34.
Well, and Jefferson, his agent's thinking the same thing. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, to me, you got to get these guys earlier. A year or two earlier saves you.
I would give
money.
Yeah, I would give CD $200 million and on a 6-year deal, 7-year deal. It could void down to something else if it needs to. But I mean, you can get him in that 30 range. I don't think that he's gonna turn down $200 million. So, all right.
Agree.
All right, Rob, have a good one. Yeah, phones are lighting up over there. I don't know what Rob's got going on, but it sounds good. All right, Ali in Florida, what's up?
Hello, Mr. Eatman. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. Did you miss us?
Sure.
Okay, that was one, just in case, because you have a lot of fan base,
Yeah.
So, a couple of things. That shirt looks great on you. I like the color of that shirt.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, couple of things. I want to welcome Zeke. He should never left, but love to have him. But I think we're going to miss Gallup and Pollard because they were such a great team players. And I wish both of them all the best in the next location. But I've got a question and a trivia for you.
All right.
The draft, I'm very happy. Look, I don't know everything. And you have plenty of people that are going to give you opinion. I'm just going to stay on the fun side. So on this, I believe Saturday afternoon, Mr. Jones had a conference. Then he says, Dan Quinn went to Washington. Then Mike Zimmer is here. They are totally two different styles of defenses. They might swap the players. I never understood what that meant by it. I don't know, you heard about it or not?
Yeah.
So that's one. But here's your trivia, then I'll hang up and listen. I tried to design the trivia just for you.
Okay.
So be fair.
Okay.
So Arkansas Razorback, your favorite team.
Right.
They had 273 players in NFL since 1936, 80 since 30 years ago. How many players play for Arkansas Razorback are associated with the Dallas Cowboys?
How many?
Yes.
That just.
It's a trick question. It could. I give you a little hint. It could be the executive as well.
It could be what?
There could be executive. Some of the executives.
Oh, well, that's everybody that works for the Cowboys up there. Do you have a number for the player?
Yeah, 3.
3.
I have 1970 Jerry Ducey.
Wait, hold on. Did you mean drafted?
Yes.
Oh, okay, drafted. All right. And then the other 2 are Felix Jones and Ridgeway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I thought you meant just played with the team, and I was like,
I did.
Oh man.
I did, but I changed my mind.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's one thing that people kind of forget. They think, well, Jerry will draft this guy because he went to Arkansas. And, I mean, up until Felix Jones, which was almost, 20-something years, 25 years, I mean, that was the first pick that he'd ever taken in the first round or drafted at all. And then the next one was Ridgeway, which the guy spent like 6 hours in Arkansas. With the portal. He wasn't really an Arkansas, guy. But still, that counts.
And Jerry and Jimmy, they both won the championship.
Right. You're right.
Jimmy Johnson.
That's right. In 1964.
Well, have a nice day, sir.
Thank you. All right.
Bye.
All right, Ali, let me go back to your question about the swapping players. I really think what Jerry was trying to just say was that these two coaches have just different styles. And so what players might work here could work over there. If and that's sort of what we've already seen. I mean, they didn't make a big push for Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler and Biotish for that reason on offense. And Washington had the money and obviously the familiarity there with Dan Quinn and there's some players that I'm sure that Zimmer wants that just fit differently in the scheme. So I think it really comes down to more different scheme fit. And I think your biggest one is how they play and how they view the linebacker position. You're not going to see a lot of the undersized linebackers here, like you saw in Dan Quinn's system, and which means you sacrifice a little bit, maybe a little bit, slower linebacker, but they're bigger, tougher, stronger. They fill the gaps a little bit more. So you're gonna see just a different type of player on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. This defense might be a little better on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. When you have to go out in coverage and cover the tight ends, there might be some issues there, but we'll see how it all works out. Ronnie in New Jersey's next.
What's up, Nick? How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Actually, I was calling like most of the people. I kind of enjoy this draft. I think we actually went for everything except for the nose tackle and the running back. We kind of did what we had to do. We got that. I like the center. I mean, I know he plays all positions, but he's going to be playing center for us.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is exactly what I've been calling you for. I'm like, we need somebody big, tough, and mean. And this guy is a road raider. Like, I'm glad we got this kid. And he was we got him at the end of the 3rd round. He was projected a high 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this year with how our draft went, I think we'll have a better season. To be honest with you, at least with a running game. And it seemed like they made an attempt to fix that defense. But I'm still not sold on the nose tackle. I know Mafi, this and that, but 7th round pick. I mean, we should have gone for when we drafted a linebacker. We should have gone for either the running back or a nose tackle. That's all.
Yeah.
But aside from that, Nick, thanks for taking my call. I enjoy listening to the show. I'm enjoying everybody's kind of agree. But like you said, like everybody's been saying, it's going to take a few years to see if this draft came out good or if it's going to be a bust. But it seems pretty good right now.
Right. Well, hey, Ronnie, watch out for that Brinks truck. Is it backing up right into you there? If it's got money, turn around and get some. Man.
Yeah, no, I'm in a construction job, and there's a lot of moving parts right here right now.
You know what? I love it.
Yeah.
You know what? It's there's a lot. Everybody's got phones ringing and all that, but you know what? I mean, no matter what, thanks for the call, Ronnie. It doesn't matter what time, it is. I mean, when we do a 1 o'clock show, it's either 2 o'clock on the East Coast or even 11 o'clock on the West Coast. So everybody's working. Everybody's doing stuff. So, you know what I mean? It's not like everyone's just sitting at home chilling, but I like that. I'm here working. I got stuff going on. I'm going to call the show. Driving a truck. We had a mailman walking around on a route or UPS drivers and stuff like that. We got all that kind of stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, you can always say, they could have got a running back, but I think it got to the point too where it's like it's already kind of crowded here, and Zeke that was happening. Okay, they didn't get Zeke because they didn't draft the running back. They were getting Zeke. That was always going to happen. So they liked Texas kid, Brooks. They liked some of the others, but that didn't really work out. So then you get to the 4th round, and you're like, all right, is this 4th round running back going to come in and be better than Rico Dowdle, better than Malik Davis? I mean, maybe. But I think they valued that differently, and they said, all right, this is kind of what we have, so we're just going to kind of muddy the waters if we do another one here. So I think that's probably how it went down. That they were always looking at running backs. It just didn't really work out. All right, Ray in Fort Worth.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
So, I'm doing great. I've been hearing, listening. So, quick. So, Jerry wants to say to the other caller who says ridiculous, Jerry's not going to pay these guys. Using that 4th round pick. It was at the time, but here's the thing. Jerry's exact words: "I want to see more cards played." Okay, well, Dak holds all the cards. Okay, they can't cut him. They can't trade him. So here's the thing: if he hits the free agency market, if Jerry says, "Oh, I'll hit the free agent market," he's gone. Then what you gonna do? I think if Dak hits the market, he's gone. There'll be somebody else there to give him the money. So now you got to see what you got in Trey Lance. I mean, you got to hold on to him. Now you're stuck. So I was not a fan of it at the time, but now looking at how Jerry wants to play this thing, you might need late Trey Lance. Because you may not, I don't know what the schedule is going to be. I'm not expecting them with this first place schedule. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
2, Guyton and BB will be judged by Graham Barton. So 2 is not always better than 1. Although I do like BB a lot. That's probably my favorite pick of the draft.
Yeah.
And along with the Notre Dame linebacker.
Right.
So I just want to see them put Micah Parsons back at linebacker. We're wasting his talents. This guy can cover. He can run sideline to sideline. You know, he did it his rookie year. I watched him pick off a pass. I watched him cover a guy, knowing a guy was going to be fouled. I watched him cover a guy that was in the slot. We're just wasting him there. He's not going to hold up to banging his head at defensive end. So I hope they put somebody there. We needed a defensive end. I would rather have Zeke Parsons have the green dot on his head. Put the green dot on his head. He's smart enough. Let him do it. He's better there. So I don't know. I hope Zimmer has that kind of plan. So just the notion that that 4th round pick may come into play because there's no guarantee. Players are not just taking a discount. No, Jerry, I do believe Jerry thinks that just because you had a star in your head, you should take a discount. That don't work anymore. I mean, because that's going to get his commercials wherever he goes because he's just that type of leader, that type of person where you don't have to worry about anything. So, and I did have a question.
Okay.
What happens if a team on the draft card doesn't fill the draft card out properly? What happens?
Properly?
Yeah, because I've seen a copy of the card. You have the round, the number, and the name and all that. What happens if it doesn't? Do they look at that? Does it matter how you fill it out if it's wrong?
Well,
like the round or the person or something like that?
No. They're trying to get this thing right. I mean, I guarantee there's been some misunderstandings and corrections like. You mean this? Is this the guy you mean? You had his name wrong. Like, let's clarify. Like, I don't think it's like, sorry, you made a mistake.
No, but okay, yeah, I do remember seeing the case where somebody was taking too long and another team ran the card up ahead of them.
That's different now. That's different. That's just not making your pick. Yeah, I mean that did happen with Minnesota a few years ago, and it almost happened with the Cowboys like 20 years ago. So yeah, I mean that is different than just like making a mistake on the card. I think they'll help you there. But if you're going to sit there, and that was also when it was 15 minutes. I mean, you can go to the store and come back and get a sandwich and make a pick. I mean, I like that they've gone down to 10 and then 5. I mean, it makes it a lot quicker. I still think they could go 7 or 8. I mean,
well, in the first round though, you're all these trades.
There's a trade. I get it. I mean, it's probably fine, especially the way they're doing it with one night. It's a made-for-TV event. You can stretch it out that way, but
yeah. And Atlanta, to me, that was probably the craziest pick.
Oh yeah.
Is that Cats? Yeah. I mean, Penix. They had the running back from Washington, the wide receiver from Washington, sitting right there on the board, but they reached for Penix, in my mind, who's been hurt multiple, 2 knee surgeries, 2 shoulder surgeries, and then you paying Cousins all that money. This cat might be 28 by the time he plays, 29.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee. I hear people saying, well, he could play with the players. Quarterbacks are playing late in the year. Not a guy these guys is playing that long hasn't had a long injury history in college.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, is he going to hold up there?
Yeah.
I mean, so that was my craziest pick of the draft. But overall, I think the Cowboys. We already had a running back on. I like Royce Freeman. I wasn't a big fan of Zeke getting signed. I'd like to see Royce Freeman get his shot. He never gets his chance to just carry the ball. I like Royce Freeman. To me, we had with the guys we had, we got Royce Freeman. I don't think Zeke has much left. I mean, if you're just bringing him here to get 1 yard and get 1 yard in the end zone, I like to just see Royce Freeman get his shot because he always gets stuck behind somebody and never gets his chance. I thought I was happy for him when we got him, but I didn't know Zeke was going to be a stopgap.
Yeah.
But I like Royce Freeman.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I haven't heard a lot of people say that, and you can make a case. I mean, if there's a reason why that, there's always somebody better than you, that means because teams are trying to get better than Royce Freeman, but that's okay. I mean, this might be a good opportunity for him. Again, that's probably why if you don't draft one in about the third or fourth round, you're just adding to kind of what you have now, maybe younger. And obviously younger than what's here. But some of these backs are young too and unproven. So there's a lot that he said there. I mean, Micah Parsons at linebacker. I don't know what Zimmer wants to do with him. I know that you can come back and say, well, who cares what the player thinks? But I'm not sure that I'm not sure that linebacker is the best fit for Micah. I don't think he believes that. And don't just say, who cares? Do it anyways, because that's not always the case. And quarterback and middle linebacker are two positions that it's a lot more than just what you see at practice. And if you're not going to study and put the work in, then it's going to be tough to be great. And I'm not saying Micah could play, won't do that or, whatever, but I do think he likes getting after the quarterback and making plays that way. And so, but something's got to give because you can't do it. You can't keep doing it at that weight. And we're already seeing that in 3 years, how it just doesn't work the same as the season goes on. So they got to be really creative in what they do and how to get Micah to be really, really good. Or continue to be really good. He has been, but I mean, continue to be even better and better. Lewis in Langston, Oklahoma.
How you doing? I'm a first-time caller.
All right. Here we go, Chris. What's going on, Lewis? We'll get you.
Not much. There we go. I do want to say I've been listening since, I don't know, forever. But I'm a little behind, so I'm probably saying what everybody else is saying. I enjoyed the draft. I enjoyed getting the big man up front. But I will say I was a little disappointed we didn't get running back, and I'm okay with them bringing Zeke back. I'm not mad about that. And we still got free agency and stuff like that. Most people are, I'm on the Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and it's mixed reviews, and I try not to argue with people about it. At work, people are arguing with me about it, and I'm like, if you can find me a better option, I'm okay with it, but nobody's really giving me a better option at the moment. So I'm more of like, and like I said, I'm a little behind, so I don't really know where you stand on that point, and I haven't really got to catch up and hear what you got to say. But and like I said, this is my first time calling. I'm a little giddy about it because I've been listening to you probably since I was, I don't know, like 12, and I would say favorite wrestler though.
Okay.
I'm a little younger. I'm going to go with Booker T. I had the long locks like him when I was younger, so I used to try to do the spin-a-rooney and all of that kind of crap. I think I busted my head a few times thinking I can spin around like a crazy person. So
Booker T. Nice.
I would go with Booker T.
Nice.
And then I think that's it for now. I'm going to try to get in when I can, but I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Appreciate that, Lewis. First-time caller there, Booker T. There we go. There he got it.
It was acting up. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. We love those first time callers for sure. All right, let's keep it rolling. We got Eric and Amarillo. We're kind of pressed up against time, so that's why I want to keep moving to the calls. Eric, Amarillo, what's up?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Hey, I've never got to call in. I listen all the time while I'm working and never get a chance to call in. I really enjoy your show.
We know what that means. Here we go. All right.
Hey, I just wanted to make a comment. I'm a little worried about Dak long term. I feel like I'm worried that Dak just doesn't have that it factor. I mean, if you look back in the history of quarterbacks for the Dallas Cowboys, you know, Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, they just had that it factor. They could just win in clutch times. I mean, I've watched the Cowboys ever since I was a little boy. It seems Dak is reminds me a lot of like Danny White and even Tony Romo when they were young. When it came playoff time, they just weren't clutch. And
let me
I guess
ask you
I'm frustrated.
Let me ask you
go ahead.
this. All right, let me ask you this, Eric. Do you feel like Dak, Romo, Danny White don't have the it factor because they never won, or do you think they never won because they don't have the it factor?
I just think they never won because they don't have the it factor. It just seems like when it really comes down to the critical the critical moments of the game, they just seem to always turn over the ball. I can remember watching Danny White in the NFC Championship games, and he would just like throw a pick at the worst time. And I know it's tough; it's not easy being in the NFL. I can't even imagine. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just worry about paying Dak. First of all, I just think, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Did Brady take less money when he was with the Patriots?
Yeah, like
so
later.
They could surround him with more talent.
Yeah, later in his career, yeah.
I just guess I don't understand, and we don't know what he's asking, what Dak's asking, but I don't understand why you wouldn't take a little less, why you think you have to have the most money and keep more talent around you, especially with all the money he can make with endorsements.
Yeah. You got to remember, too, I mean, I think Tom Brady's wife made more than him. I mean, I don't know that.
Yeah.
But I just, you know, and at that point, it was all about staying with the head coach, staying in this dynasty, and being the greatest of all time. And that's, you know, but then again, when he did decide to go somewhere else, he won there too. So
yeah,
and Belichick did not. So that, I mean, that kind of, to me, kind of shows a little bit of where that was. But it's hard to say that, you know, taking less money, and we talked about this before. It's not just about the player taking less. It's about the whole concept with the agents and also your other quarterbacks, the fraternity of the quarterbacks too, and how they all, you know, they're bonded together. And if you start taking less, now you're messing up the next few contracts. You know, there's a guy out there waiting to get paid, and Dak goes and takes less money. Then all of a sudden that contract gets weighed that way, and then he's kind of screwing the whole market for everyone. So it's not as easy as just saying I'm going to take less to get more, because one thing we've seen when they have cut players, when they have had some extra money, they don't always seem to just use it and get more. I mean, I remember when they cut Dez and saved $10 million, they didn't replace him with anyone. So it doesn't always work that way. That'd be the last thing you want to do is take less money, and then all of a sudden, now when you start doing that, now your quarterback too is kind of like, should he be in the draft room? Should he be talking to free agents? You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, I'm part of this now. So it's a little tricky when you're just saying that, and it doesn't really happen that often.
I mean, I would like to keep Dak. I really would like to see if he could get over the top. But I just think $50 million a year, if that's what he's asking, I would be really hesitant to pay that. I know the going rate for a starting quarterback is pretty much $35 to $40 million at least, and the upper echelon is $50 million.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it takes. Yep. All right, Eric.
Hey, I enjoyed calling.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate you taking my call, man.
Appreciate that, Eric in Amarillo. Spent a few days up there in Amarillo. Been to the Route 66 Speedway over there. I was on the pit crew for like 6 hours one time there. I didn't do anything because I can't. I don't know anything. Chris would know. I'd just be getting in the way if I was up there. But I've spent some time in Amarillo. All right, Tim in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Tim.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
Like the draft?
Love the draft. Excited about the draft. We got bigger. We got stronger. Feel like we solidified the middle of our defense and offense, which is where the game is played.
Right. Trenches. Yep.
Yep. Also, you guys drafted another Winston-Salem player. Wake Forest is in Winston-Salem.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Kalen Carson, right?
Yes. But like I say, I'm super stoked, super excited about our draft. And not only did we get bigger, I feel like we got a lot more attitude, which is what's been lacking, I think, in terms of our play.
Yeah. I do think, just bigger, tougher, stronger, kind of nastiness. I mean, that's what they need. When the games that they've lost, it just kind of felt like they got pushed around a little bit, and that's what they got to get back to.
Yes, I feel the same way. Like I said last time I called you, I feel like there are times I'm watching the game, the other team is playing tackle football and we're playing flag. So we need to get a little nasty.
There's been a lot of games they've been playing flag football for different reasons, too. They got to clean up the penalties as well. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got.
Okay. All right, Tim. I love that. Appreciate the call. I said, did you like the draft? He said, I love the draft. And it reminded me, thanks for the call, Tim. It reminded me just yesterday, I saw some of the running backs coming out of the running back room, and I saw Deuce Vaughn, and he, obviously from Kansas State, and I asked him, I said, hey, you like BB? He goes, no, I love BB. And I was just laughing. I was like, okay, that's kind of what my son would say, hey, bud, you like the pizza? He's like, no, Dad, I love the pizza, but Deuce Vaughn loves the BB. And a lot of those highlights that I saw of BB throwing people around, Deuce was in there either running and behind him, or Deuce even throwing some blocks in there too. So, but yeah, that seems to be everyone's kind of favorite pick for sure. All right, let's go a long distance here. Well, this will be our last call. Let's go Zach in Germany.
Hey, Nick, what's going on?
How are you doing?
Good, brother. Unfortunately, like I said, I normally don't get to listen live, so I'm sure you had about 10 questions on running back today, so I won't hit that too hard for you.
11.
11, okay. One question. You think Zeke gets his jersey back now that Gilmore's gone?
I just asked him. I just saw him right before the show. I talked to him for a little bit. We were just said hello for the first time, since he's been back. And not that I know him that well, but I saw him and he's in a great mood and all that. And we were talking about it. He goes, I don't know how that all is going to work out. I'm not really sure yet, but he goes, I'm just here for whatever. So it sounds like he probably would like a different jersey, but it may, then again, they may have some in the pro shop at 21 that they'd like to sell, so they may be pushing that. And I think the guy in 15, if that's where he wants to go, I think that guy actually makes more money. A Lance, but of course it usually comes down to seniority. But to me, 21 just makes sense. I mean, it's what it is. It's what it's what it's been. And I'd like for him to stay there, but that's I don't know how it all is going to shake out.
No, it makes sense. Me too. I think it would be nice to be able to dust it off out the closet.
Yeah.
Took a year off, but I could put it back on.
Yeah.
Two quick questions. I know we're closing up the show. I'll move on from the running back piece. Now with the new NFL kickoff rules, do you see Turpin finally bringing one home in the regular season?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I now it's not going to be, it's not just going to be a free reign for these guys, and also because he's little. I mean, like. He gets hit in the open field. I mean, he's going to be subject to an injury as well. I mean, they haven't seen a lot of kickoff returns. I think he only had 10. So if he's going to have more, that's going to open up more opportunities for him to score and to get hit. And he can't take a lot of hits. So that's going to be interesting there. I do think he'll have an opportunity to take one to the house. It just depends on how they play it. You bring everyone in. It's going to take just one or two misses, and then you could be gone. I just don't. What I see teams kind of keeping some guys back, and therefore I think what you'll see is probably much better field position. Maybe not a lot of. They're not going to give up a lot of touchdowns, but because it'll be less people, I think you'll see a lot more returns to the 35-40-ish range than we've seen in the past.
that makes sense. Last one for you, and then I hang up. Gilmore, any update on Gilmore since we just mentioned him? Any word now that the draft's over? I know we took a late round cornerback, but any word on Gilmore maybe coming back?
I just don't think they have the money for it. I still think with Gilmore, it's an injury situation too. He's had the shoulder surgery. I've heard Carolina is all in on that, and so that's probably going to happen. I mean, you see a lull before the draft. And then now it'll pick back up a little bit. Some guys around the league. I saw a ranking. I don't know whose ranking it was, some website, but I mean they had him as the number 1 free agent available. So maybe or 1 or 2. It was up there. So and the possible suitors the Cowboys weren't included in that. So I don't think he's going to be back. And I think that he'll get some money. Teams are probably just waiting to see how that shoulder checks out. So
that makes sense.
All right.
Well, good job. Great show, and good job this weekend to all you guys down there. So stay safe. Have a good one.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for the call. Gets in there from Germany. A lot of good callers today. Got some first-time callers. Got some of the regs that called in as well. Most people excited about the draft, other than maybe not getting a running back, but I understand that. And now let's see what happens. They'll just from a schedule standpoint, they'll come in. Not this weekend, the next weekend. They'll come in on that Thursday. Not even sure what day of the week that is. Maybe the 9th, something like that. They'll come in for the rookie mini camp. They'll be on the field some on Friday and Saturday. We'll see some chance to interview these guys up close and get a chance to see what they've got. So, but we'll have a show this Thursday and another one Tuesday before all of that. So, all right. Thanks for all the callers. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you next month, which is Thursday, May 2nd. We'll see you then. Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?